¿Me escuchas?
Yeah. All
You
right,
hear
all
me?
right, all right. Hey, shalom, y'all. Bashim Shabbat. Saludos a toda mi raza. This is Officer Kazayad de la Escuela Israelita de Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Estamos aquí todos los lunes
All right.
representando aquí el sur de California, ¿verdad? El territorio ocupado, el norte de México, aquí mismo todos los lunes dando estas clases de esta historia, ¿verdad? Que siempre, como siempre, estamos al pie del cañón para toda nuestra raza. La cosa es que tenemos que unirnos ahorita mismo porque la cosa está difícil, más difícil para nosotros la raza que viene a los Estados Unidos a buscarle, ¿cómo se dirá? A buscarle la buena vista a la vida y llegamos aquí a los Estados Unidos a batallar, ¿verdad? Y especialmente con el racismo, con el odio, con la violencia que presentan a la raza latina, toda la raza latina, salvadoreño, guatemalteco, hondureño, mexicano, centroamericano, sudamericano, todos somos iguales, todos somos la misma nación, somos una raza, pero sin embargo venimos aquí a buscar el sueño americano y lo que encontramos es la pesadilla americana, como ya han visto, toda nuestra gente que anda trabajando en las calles, que ocupan el lugar de vender en las calles, se encuentran con los problemas siempre de la violencia en las calles, yo en Los Ángeles, ¿no? Pero en Chicago y todo lo que es los otros estados, igual la misma cosa, nada diferente, todos estamos en el mismo nivel, ¿verdad? Estamos aquí hoy, estoy con mi compañero Malakma, ¿verdad? Y Ayar Banyashakar, saludos. See if I can hear you guys. Go ahead.
Hey, do you hear me, other one?
Khan.
All right, most
Shalom Israel, Cuba de raza. Estamos otra noche.
Hey, Shalom, aquí estamos.
Perfecto, perfecto. So, as always, we jump on, try to do this show, La Neta. It's all the raza who joins in. And, we always talk about what's going on in America, man. I'm going to say it like that, in America. But really, with the raza, really what happens to us. And it seems kind of crazy, but there's always something going on, man. It's like, America's like goddamn soap opera to our people. You know what I mean? Always something going on. I want to say shalom, y'all. Shapat, Kayak, shalom, brother, for joining in. The water for joining in with us and sticking around. Man, I got a great show today. I'm gonna fill in a little bit of what's going on here. We got Gary, Indiana in the house. Okay, let me bring these brothers on. Hey, shalom, y'all.
Hey,
all right, bro.
Hey, Salak, y'all the one.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves, brothers.
Slicer, if I could, priest and officer of 1,000, I will love the boy out of Gary, Indiana, Chicago.
Priest and officer of 500, Lacum Yala out of Gary, Indiana, Chicago.
All right, perfect, man. The water for jumping on the show. We got Ayar Banyashikar in the house. We got Malakma Banyashikar, and of course me, Officer 5000 Kazak Yad on the show. This is I believe you've been on the show before, correct?
Khan, sir. Last week.
Khan. Okay, perfect. All right, man. You know what? This is the unity of black and brown right here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Salak, y'all the one. I can't find the page on ICE BK Mexico.
Salak, if I could, IR. Go to my page, IR. It's on my page.
All right, come.
My Facebook page, like it.
All right. So, real quick, man, we're gonna go on. We're gonna try to get this show started real quick. We're running a little late, man, like half hour late. Usually we're on 8:45, but today we had some issues. But we're here, and that's the important part, man. The reason I wanted the brothers from Chicago on the show is because California has a thing about we always got this issue between black and brown. Not everybody,
right.
It's not everybody. You just got these brothers, man, who just don't understand that we all live together in the same neighborhoods, on the same block. We go through the same things. We seem to have the same issues, but there's always that racial tension. And today's show is a perfect example of where this racial tension comes from. Because we had an incident out here in California with this brother from with his brother, his Hispanic brother, he goes by American Cholo. And I'm gonna let Ayar kind of fill us in with what was going on with this this brother American Cholo and how it was impacting to our community, the Hispanic community, and our Judite brother community, the black community. Go ahead, Ayar. Let them know what happened with that.
Concert. So the American Cholo was on Adam 22. You know, he got on Adam 22 because Adam 22 made a video that was chopped and screwed, and took out pieces of one of the videos that American Cholo did on his podcast. And on that podcast American Cholo was doing, he was talking about a homeboy that he had that came out of the pinta from prison. And he, you know, in prison, because you know, Esau, because of these Edomites, they separate black and brown. So a lot of us Southerners, they grew up racial. You know, if you're not racist and you go in prison, you're gonna come out racist. You know what I mean? That's just how the system is. So his homeboy came out of prison and he was talking about, nigger this and nigger that. You know what I mean? And American Cholo was like, hey man, well, like chill out on that. You know what I mean? But what Adam 22 did, which is, you know, Esau's the devil the Bible speaks of. So he took that as his advantage, because I don't know if you guys seen that American Cholo also got on what's that one radio show, 106 point something with Tiger.
Power 106.
Power 106.
Power 106.
So that's a whole nother story itself. You know what I mean? So American Cholo got on that show and talked about, you know, how Caramba, you know, Tiger, he made a song, but it was actually the music video that really made a mockery of La Raza. You know what I mean? It was very obvious he never hung around with real Mexicans, you know what I mean, with Chicanos or just Mexicans in general. You could tell by his foolery, by his how much of a clown he was, you know what I mean? It was a mockery towards La Raza, you know what I mean? So American Cholo got on and said a few words. But like I said, Adam 22 grabbed the little bits and pieces of American Cholo's podcast and took those clips and then shared it on No Jumper, and then it just went viral. You know what I mean? Because they were trying to say, like, how can American Cholo say, you know, that blacks are being racist, and there he is saying nigger this and nigger that. You know what I mean? But it was taken out of context. You know what I mean? The white man will use anything to separate the black and the brown. You know what I mean? So he chopped and screwed those two little clips and just put out, you know, when it was talking about his homeboy. But yeah, it blew up. It got viral, and so American Cholo said, yeah, you know what, we're in the homies. I think it was Bozo and his homies pulled up on Adam 22 on his podcast. So but yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want.
And give us a little bit of info on who this American Cholo is and what he is, you know, what he's about and how he's getting all this publicity. What is it that gives him all this?
So American Cholo was he was a gang member at one time, you know what I mean, and he was a reputable gang member, you know what I mean. He wasn't just a regular gang member. He was actually he was high in rank, and but he changed his whole life around, you know what I mean. So he's been there, you know what I mean. He's seen black and brown beef. He's seen the gang banging. He's seen what the white man has done to the brown community. So on his podcast, he's basically trying to wake up the raza, you know what I mean, and trying to unite the black and the brown, you know what I mean. But yeah, this man's successful. He has his own business, you know what I mean. He's just doing his podcast for his little side hustle, but he's really out here trying to raise a voice for the Mexican community, you know what I mean, because there's nobody really speaking up for us, you know what I mean. There's a lot that's going on. Raza's being attacked left and right for a long time, and it just seems like he's getting pushed down on the rug. So I give props to American Cholo for speaking up about us, man, and bringing awareness to what's going on to the Mexican community.
All right, all right, all right. So let me tell you on my point of view on this whole thing is that yeah, we got this cat American Cholo speaking up for the community and everything for the brown and but man, he is pushing it to a different level because he's been able to work his way through. His whole hook is of course to how could I say to speak out about the Cholo community, the Cholo community. You know, that's his thing. He speaks about the Cholo community, and you know, Mexicans out here they proud about the Cholo, you know, the Cholo culture because that's what it is. It's a culture. Cholo is a culture. You know, it's you know we're all Hispanics, we're all Latinos, but then they got the Cholo culture. It's kind of like our black brothers. They're they're what they Crips, they what they Bloods, right? That's a culture that they have, if you want to call it that. This brother right here is a Cholo culture. You know what I mean? So he's speaking up for that culture. Now, not all of us in LA, not all of us grew up cholos. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna say my brothers did. You know they did. They grew up like that. But I kind of stepped away from that whole end. Even though I was around it all the time, I didn't go hardcore on that. You know, and a lot of brothers in LA is the same way. A lot of Mexicans is like that. We don't go hardcore on it. This brother has found his way through speaking through a community that seemed to have gotten lost for a little while, but now it's coming back. Now they got this community. Now it's strong. I'm always in East LA. I see it all the time. The lowrider culture, the oldies culture, Steven Steakhouse, and the oldies and all these things. They're coming back. They got a little thing coming back, and then we see how you know the Cholo culture and the black culture in LA. They've always had a little thing about each other. You know, they got their differences, their division. I seen on one of the threads when this brother was speaking, a lot of the black community is kind of like they angry because this brother, you know, he used the word nigga on one of his podcasts, like Yar said, he used the word nigga on one of his podcasts. Now, the word nigga, he didn't use it in what is that like, you know, an offensive way,
Derogatory.
derogatory way. He didn't mean it like that. In LA, this is the way I see it. I don't know, maybe out there in the I don't know how it is in Chicago, carnales out there, but out here in LA, like there is a raza that grew up only with raza. They didn't use the word nigga. But then
Right.
there's raza that grew up in the black neighborhood at black schools with black raza and black with raza and black brothers. And since you hung around with black brothers, they used to call you my nigga. And in return, we used to call them niggas because it was just a word we used to use on each other. And then we ended up calling each other niggas. Mexican on Mexican calling themselves niggas. So but the reason why it was used is because you grew up with black brothers in your school, in your neighborhood. You know, I grew up with a lot of black brothers myself. You know, there was people that I used to hustle with. You know, I'm gonna mention the name, my boy Tony Washington. My boy Tony Washington, me and him grew up together. Man, we used to DJ together. We used to hustle together. We started some businesses later on in life together. We did a what was that? A carpet cleaning business together. Hey, let's get into carpet cleaning, bam. And then we even got into video editing and video production, and you know, we started doing all kinds of things. Me and him were always close. Me and Tone Washington and a couple other brothers. A Big Dog, we used to call him Big Dog, Sydney, my boy Sydney, and you know, we were out hustling. And because we were out hustling, I used to be, oh, my nigga Tone, my nigga Big Dog, my nigga Big Dog, my nigga this. And I use the word my nigga with them because they used to, oh, my nigga Jess, Big Jess, my nigga Jess, my nigga Jess. And it just kind of stuck that you use that word. Now, then you'd go home, and then I got an older brother, and my older brother had a thing about always, oh, nigga, my nigga, 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 nigga. Man, we'd go eat sometimes, and he'd be sitting in the restaurant, he'd be, yeah, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga. And I look at him like, bro, man, there's somebody behind you, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we didn't use that word like to offend anybody. It was just something that since we hung around these brothers, we got used to talking just like them. And I'll prove it to you how I'm right, because sometimes you hear Mexican brothers and they sound like we call it you sound like you black. because they talk, what's up, y'all? Oh, y'all good? What's happening? You know, this and that. And they be talking like this. And they even do the hands like this. And then you see Mexican brothers, and they're like, hey, carnal, que onda, this and that. But it's because you grew up with people. And it kind of sticks to you from hanging around these brothers so much that you begin to speak like them. I didn't use the word no sweat. And now that I'm in the truth, I use the word no
Right.
sweat a lot. You know what I'm saying? And why do I use the word no sweat? Because brother used the word no sweat. I never used the word rib, and now I use the word rib. Why did I use the word rib? Because all the brothers in the UPK use the word rib. You know what I'm saying? And it's because we're picking up language and a culture, for if I want to call it that, a culture, or it's just sticking to you because why? Because you're good friends with these brothers, and you learn to be like them, and they also learn to be like you. There's this brother in Compton. They call him El Negro. You heard of him, Mayar? El Negro. How about you, Malakma? El Negro.
Compa Negro.
He's a black brother who sings norteño music. El Compa Negro. They call him.
Salakia, this brother says that he's in his spirit, he's Mexican. You know what I mean? Like so a brother like that grew up with Mexicans and is doing music to embrace the Mexicans, not to do a mockery or trying to come up off la raza to make money. The vato, man, you could tell when he does his music, you could tell that spirit that he has is authentic. You know what I mean?
Right, you're right about that. But once again, like the point is that when you hear this brother talk, it sounds like you're talking to a Mexican. Right. And he uses Mexican words and he uses Mexican phrases. And I nearly grew up in South Central, Southgate area all my life out there, you know, with El Parral. And he talks exactly the way Raza talks out there. Because let me tell you something, Raza in Huntington Park and Southgate talk different than Raza in San Fernando or Pacoima. They have a different way of talking. It's not the same. It's a different slang between Mexicans. There's words that Mexicans in San Fernando Valley don't use that Mexicans in Southgate and South Central do use. And then you know where people are from because of the way they're talking. It's like people from Sinaloa and people from Michoacan and people from Tijuana and people from Jalisco. They all have a different way of talking. And you can tell where someone is from just by the words they're using. And kind of like the black brothers, you can tell when a brother's from the South because of that accent that he has. You know what I'm saying? So you can tell the difference in people. And so getting back to the point, when you hear these brothers, man, when you see these brothers talking the way they talk, you know, this brother said the word nigga, and some devil decided to use it in a way where it would become a weapon against black and brown. That's what that white boy did. He took it and used that word and cut it up when he did his little clip or whatever it is. And if someone has the clip, get it ready. You got that clip, Malakma? Get it ready. We want to show this clip because you got to see what. You guys got it?
With the bottom one, the one of
Do we have the clip that the white boy cut up?
Nah, that one we don't have. Like have not been able to find that one. They took it down. I've been looking everywhere.
American Cholo made him take that video down, Salakia.
Oh, really, man? We should have snapped that, man. We should have snatched that because that was like that's where you see where these white boys, man, they're using that crap console to bring black and brown against each other. And you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I wanted the brothers from Chicago on this because I know that Chicago, just like LA, has a black and brown problem.
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that what's going on over there?
Common sir, if I could, it is. I want to say it's a little less intense than our brothers on the West Coast. Black and brown definitely have their share of beef here in Chicago, but it is really integrated. Like the first time I heard the word carnal was when I came into the UPK. Most of the brown brothers that's in Chicago, like you were saying, they all use the word nigga. Yeah, man. I grew up around Hispanic neighborhoods, and for the most part, our way of communication is the same. I don't hear anybody say "fool" or "carnal" or things like that. It seems like it's more of a West Coast type of style, but it's definitely real segregated unless you live into a certain areas in Chicago are integrated where you got a black community, but you still got Hispanics living next door. But for the most part, there still is a lot of turmoil between black and brown. But I would say like the language is pretty much the same in Chicago.
Okay, John. And it's funny you say that because that word fool, that sounds like a Mexican word. We all use that word fool. But I'll tell you,
Yeah.
the first time somebody called somebody a fool, it was Ice-T in one of his Ice Cube in one of his songs where he uses that word fool all the, and then it's like Mexicans pick up that word and they use the word all the time. They got what is that on TikTok, or what is that point the fool? Fool's gone wild. You ain't the fool. They got all kinds of shit now with fool in it. You know what I mean? But it's a play of words. You know what I'm saying? It's a play of words, and we can see going on in our communities. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the black and brown community, we see that. And what it is that you see these devils taking advantage of it and then turning us against each other just by using those words to try to separate us. You know what I mean? And right now, that division, man, is heavy with the black and brown. Go ahead, Malagman.
Salaki, I don't wanna. I'm trying to find that video real quick, but no, it's heavy just to say that because it just shows, you know what I mean. The situation, how things are different in each zone. You know what I mean? Like we're similar, but we're still different in a lot of ways. And what I've been saying, right, like as you know, for a minute now, is that one thing we're realizing, right, is that black and brown still got a lot to learn about one another. You know what I mean? In a general point of view, right? Like there's things that we say and do that the other, because of years and years of indoctrination that's been placed on us, that we do. There's things that the raza does that the black community considers anti-black, right? Like, and then there's things that the black community does to so-called Hispanics that they deem anti-Hispanic, but that's because both groups are colonized in the mind. We think we're two separate races of people out there in the world. That's why you have this movement out there right now that's with Tariq Nasheed, right? The FBA or Free Black America, something like that. And they're coming up against the raza. They have they're showing their hatred for so-called Hispanics because they got they think, for one, they think they're African, so they got love for the Hamites and everything. You know what I mean? And that's what I noticed, like being in this truth, right? Especially when I experience or so like come across, Negro only Israelites, Latino only Israelites, Old Testament only. There's this disdain that both groups have towards one another because we think we're two separate people. We don't look. We're still plagued by colorism. We're plagued by the so-called white man putting his putting what would you call the oppression Olympics on both groups, or each group thinks they're more oppressed than the other, and think that they think they're more entitled to rights and recognition than the other. You know what I mean? So that all that comes into play, and it just shows how America pitted black and brown towards one another. That's what this situation is right now, and that's why you have all these different movements and that exist right now that shows like the hatred that black and brown have for one another. You know what I mean? I'll say this, man, like just to touch on it. I know we might touch on it a little bit more tonight, but I'll say this: ISUPK is the remedy for the black and brown tensions. For the black and brown people. You know what I'm saying? And for my raza listening, I could say this: like a lot of y'all see our street vendors getting assaulted, right? Getting robbed and assaulted by Judites. You know what I mean? And of course, you automatically want to go and hate on the tribe of Judah and have like have anger. And anger. Your anger is warranted. You know what I mean? Like if someone messing with your people, you're gonna have that anger. But I'll say this: if them brothers weren't here in the ISUPK and knew the truth of who their people are, those brothers wouldn't be out there, messing with the street vendors. You know what I mean? Same thing with the raza. The raza was in here knowing the truth, knowing who we truly are as a people. The anti-black sentiment that the raza has as a whole, right, in the world wouldn't exist anymore because we would stop thinking of each other as two separate people. That
Right.
I grew up like that. I grew up like where it was frowned upon for Mexicans to say the word nigga. You know what I mean? Like, and there was two different groups of Mexicans. There was like Officer Kazak brought out. You had the carnales that grew up in South Central, that grew up in Watts, that grew up in Compton, and they grew up with Judites, so they would say it. And like me myself, like I grew up over here on this side of town, with more against amongst my own raza. So we like we didn't say that word, like we were more, like saying este, vato, Holmes, dog, fool, like we never really said that word, you know what I mean? And there was always that animosity at looking towards our own brothers, when they would say it, because we would think that they're trying to act like a whole different race. Because once again, we thought in the world, right, that our black brothers were a different race. We think of them as Africans instead of thinking of them as Israelites, instead of thinking of them as the tribe of Judah. You know what I mean? So that's like, it just
Hey,
shows. It just shows, that we got a lot of decolonization to do, man, and still colonizing the mind as a people. Because that whole movement, man, like I'll give American Cholo this, man. He's letting it be known, right, that something that what Tiger did was offensive. You know what I mean? And it goes back to what we're taught about brotherhood right here in the UPK. If your brother comes to you, right, your brother offends you, you go to him and him alone. And you know, if he says Salakia, right, thou has gained a brother. So it doesn't matter what you think, whether you think it's offensive or not. If that brother is telling you it's offensive, you in the spirit of brotherhood, you're gonna be like, all right, Salakia, I didn't mean it that way. And Tiger was in the right spirits to take that video down. Like he that was a good demonstration of, what it means to be brotherly, you know what I mean? Like from a worldly point of view. But
right,
that this comes to show, that little by little, we are the same people, man, and there's just a lot that we need to learn about one another, and there's a lot of, you know, um, indoctrination and propaganda that Isa has placed on both black and brown to make them be against one another. But Salaki, I'll pass the floor to the next priest.
Salaki, if I could, can you, the brothers, IZBK, Greg, Indiana, if you could, Baba Kushar, can you explain to the Mexican audience what the word nigga means and why do you guys say it?
Yeah. Khan, if I could, pretty much the word nigga in context, I would just say just means my brother, you know. So for Hispanic, so-called Mexican, Puerto Rican, any brother that's other tribes to say the word nigga is just natural. It just flows off the tongue natural, at least to my ears. Even before I came into the truth, that was just something natural for me to hear. It wasn't like, okay, I hear a Mexican brother say nigga, I'm gonna have the same reaction as if a white man just said nigga, you know, because we all grew up in the same neighborhood. I'm from a smaller city, about 45 minutes south of Chicago. So it's like a mini Chicago, but more compact. So we like the Mexican neighborhood was right next door to the black neighborhood. So we grew up in the same environment. So hearing a Mexican say brother to another Mexican or say brother to another black man was just something natural. And it's definitely something natural that's in the UPK. It's just through the ignorance that our brothers and sisters have in the world. They lack comprehension and understanding. So a lot of brothers in the world that's just ignorant, they take it the wrong way.
Khan with a Khan. Now I know since I came into the truth, you know what I mean? Like I grew up, I was told not to use that word because we looked at it as it was disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like because I grew up knowing that, you know, that word nigga comes from the word nigger, you know what I mean? And like white man used to call the brothers that. So we wouldn't want to call the brothers that word or call our raza that way because we looked at it as disrespectful. And but since I've been in the truth, I noticed that the word nigga comes from the word niger. So can you explain to the Mexican audience the biblical side of that word? Baba Kushaw.
Come. So if I could, so when you look at that word, the word Niger and the word nigger, it all come from that same root word, which really means black. You understand? And then when you go through the scriptures, you understand, you go through Acts chapter 13, verse 1, you see where the apostles was called nigger or niger as well. You understand? Meaning they was called black as well. And here's a problem, you know what I'm saying, that I have with my Judite brothers. You understand? Like they a lot of times, and I grew up down south. I grew up in Florida, me personally. And growing up down south, you see a lot of the Judite brothers, they embrace, you understand, our oppressors into allowing them to say that word nigga so freely. You understand? They I just watched a video of who was it? He came from out of the West Coast, Roddy Rich. He went out to, I believe it's UK, and they were singing the song, and I mean the crowd was full of devils. And when it came out, he told them to sing his song, and they all screamed the word nigga, and nobody got offended. But then when one of our Hispanic brothers decided to use that word, a brother who understands our pain, a brother who been through what we've been through. You understand? Like we're called, you understand, cotton pickers. Hispanics are called cotton pickers in a different form because they went through the same thing.
We're still in the fields.
Damn right. And what our brothers lack when it comes to understanding is that the only way we can actually get out of this captivity, or the only way we can actually improve, even if they don't believe we'll ever leave America, if the only way we can improve together is if blacks and Hispanics come together and understand who our enemy is. You understand? Like our enemy is the one that we're allowing to say nigga, versus to the one who is actually supposed to be saying my nigga to us, because our Hispanic brothers are our niggas. You understand? So like you.
So if I could, what does the word black mean in the Bible?
Okay. It could be manifold. It could be a description of a race of people, meaning they're in a low state, they're in the dirt, they, you know what I mean, in turmoil, in a state of lamentation. Or it could be specifically talking about skin color. A lot of the times it's speaking of both. So, you know, depending on the context in the Bible, when you see the word black, it could be talking about the condition. Hispanics are black, flat out. You know, we got the same
because of the condition that we're in, right?
Exactly. We got the same condition.
Go ahead, sir. Salaki.
Yeah, you know, we got the same conditions. You know, when I look around the hood, where blacks and Hispanics are both located in, it's just a concentration camp. It's a concentration camp where we both fighting. We got heathens owning all our businesses, and then, you know, it's such a thing with the Judite culture. They see a lot of in the Hispanic neighborhoods. They see a lot of buildings are written in Spanish, so they just automatically assume that, you know, Hispanics own all the businesses in their communities, and they're not suffering like us, which is not the case. So it's a lot of misnomers. That's causing a divide between us too. But for sure, the Hispanics are black.
Salaki, somebody needs to mute their mic.
Who got their mic on? Someone that just came in. I got it right here. All right. We're good.
Our concerts, the water, you know what I mean? Because that way, you know, the Mexican can have a better understanding what that word, what the word means, and how far it goes. You know, it goes right back to the scriptures. So it's the water for that one.
And if I could just add, go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead. Salaki, go ahead.
I was just going to expand just a tad bit. You can look at certain situations where, at the border, you had our oppressor putting Hispanic babies in dog cages. You got Haitians at the border being chased and whipped by horses. It's just so many instances where you can compare the two struggles and they're identical. And it's, such a fog over the eyes of our people where we cannot perceive to see that we are living in the same conditions. Like that's all I wanted to say.
Come.
All right.
And
so
if I could,
go ahead.
man, Salakia, our people over here in the Northern Kingdom, they're too in love with the goddamn white Jesus that the Spaniard gave us, that they'll accept any white bastard up in our set, but they can't seem to accept that the Bible says that Christ was a black man. To our people, it's easier to accept that Christ is a goddamn gringo, a pinche gabacho, versus what the Bible says. And no matter how many scriptures we read, to them it's really hard to believe that Christ was a man of color. And that's the goddamn curses. We're goddamn oppressors. They killed us, raped our people, pillaged, they stole, they did everything they could to us, and they gave us a goddamn white Jesus to praise. So now all these goddamn bastards, they think they can rape and still kill in the name of the goddamn white Jesus and still be forgiven. And our people still believe that goddamn custom. Salakia, that's it.
So I'm gonna say, man, that the idea that this white boy, right, tried to pin the black and the brown against each other is probably why that Yashikar is talking about is so effective in America. Because when we see them speak about it, it seems like we're okay with it. Like if they're saying it, it just seems like it's all right. But when we speak about it, it seems like it comes against us. When that brother, what's his name, American Cholo, used that word, they were quick to, what was that? It was called. Let me see if I have it in here. Let me see if I have it in my phone, because I saved a bunch of that garbage that they did. Here it is. It was called Protest and Demand. There is a picture of it right there. Let me see if I can get up here real quick. I want to make my point here real quick for y'all to see what it is. And I should have had it. I couldn't find it on the internet no more, but I had taken it down. Let me see if I can get it now. See that it says protest and demand? Let me see if I can get on it. Come on, baby. There it is. So there is protest and demand. And it says pull up, show up to Power 106. And they're calling it racial discrimination. And the racial discrimination that they're talking about on this flyer is that Mexican brother using the word nigga on his podcast. Let's see if I can get it back up. Hang on 1 second. It's not working with me. There we go. There it goes. So, and if you can, come on. There we go. So, that's the racial discrimination they're talking about. And they want to go up there and protest and demand that this Mexican brother get dealt with because of what he said. And they say no racism, wow, economic inclusion, and what is it? Reparations. And they're going on to Power 106, which is one of the major radio stations out here, to protest against this Mexican brother. But all those black brothers, all 12 of them that showed up, none of them protested against that white boy saying anything about blacks or Hispanics. They didn't protest against that. What they did is they gathered to protest against Hispanic brothers. And the reason that they got that is because that white boy conjured up all these people to do it. And what's the name, Malagma? What's the name of that one cat?
Which one? Adam 22?
the one that organized it.
Oh,
I
Tariq
sent you
Nasheed.
Tariq Nasheed, exactly.
Tariq Nasheed.
That Tariq Nasheed is he's like some kind of artist, or what is he? What is he, Malagma? Give me some
I'm
info on
not
him.
too sure what. I just know like he has a movement called the FBA, the Free Black America. So he sounds like he's probably one of them Judite brothers that's a Republican. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Got conservative views, probably pro Trump. You know what I mean? So that's probably why he's got that stance. You know, against the raza. You know what I mean? He probably is a brother that believes that Mexicans are a threat to him, that are taking his jobs and his status. You know what I mean? And taking away his rights.
If I
This
could,
is
sir.
this is him right here, real quick.
Oh, good night.
Yeah. Red, white, and blue. That says it all. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
He's a film director.
he's a film. Yeah, Comic Con. He's a film director.
He's a film director. So this guy used his. Imagine that. He used his power as a film director, his influence as someone in the industry, to bring black and brown against each other.
Salaki, sir. Not to cut you off, sir. Salaki, I just wanted to point out real quick. If you notice in that picture, he's got the fist with the American flag in the background, which is two contradictions. Salaki, sir.
Right. And a pink shirt.
Right? Hey, and I'm gonna say I'm not gonna give American Cholo a pass, because he also has the word American and then Cholo right next to each other. So I'm gonna tell you that right there is also on both of their sides. Is you really got to think about what's going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that guy Tariq Nasheed also went after what's his name, that Puerto Rican comedian John Leguizamo. Exactly. They also went after John Leguizamo.
If I could, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that brother Tariq Nasheed, I'm a little familiar with him. He's a blackity black cat, real similar to that brother. Maybe you heard of him, Umar Johnson. They like, I mean, the same type of brother. I believe he had a little popular video series out called Hidden Colors, pretty much where he got a lot of information that he took from the ISUPK and put it into a compilation, speaking about alligator bait for babies and the atrocities that you don't hear about in the U.S. educational system. Pretty much everything that we teach. He's some nutcase that believe that we Africans and everything like that. So this brother, him coming up against La Raza is no surprise at all. I'm pretty sure he understands who the Israelites are, and I'm pretty sure he wants to put a bigger divide between blacks and Hispanics. And the proof is what he's doing right there. Who in the hell would promote something like that? A Mexican saying nigga. You wanna promote a damn protest about that? Salagia.
And let me tell you, he's out on a witch hunt, because he also did this a video about the gentrification of Wakanda, because they're making that new movie with the Mayans as and he's all on top of that, talking about it's the gentrification of Wakanda. This idiot, he doesn't know that his own neighborhoods are being gentrified and not by black or Hispanics. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's heavy, sir. Salakia. You said he's gentrification of Wakanda? Wakanda's make believe, man. That's fantasy. Yeah, night. That just shows, man, like how destroyed brothers are, man. Like Salakia, like, you know what I mean? Because like I brought out, there's actual gentrification going on. You know what I mean? And Salakia, if I could, just because he said what he said about Wakanda being gentrified because there's Mayans in there. Well, that's twofold, because there's another issue, right, that touches on with now with the tribe of Gad, and now with with us, right, like where the Africans are gentrifying our movements, right. There's a reason why, like, to touch on this, just because it kind of touches on the point. There's a reason why we're getting such pushback from the indigenous community, from our brothers, from our raza that's more in tune. You know what I mean? More about indigenous culture. because there's a movement out there where there's Judites saying, right, that they're the real Native Americans and that we stole their identity and we're fakes, that we're mongoloids. So there's a whole nother movement out there. So Tariq Nasheed wants to talk about the gentrification, of Wakanda, when Wakanda is also, if he wants to use his own same argument, that's indigenous erasure of Mayans when you're putting Mayans in the African movement. So you know what I mean? This just shows, how ignorant these brothers in the world are, man. Like they just don't know any better, man. Because for one, man, like the ISUPK, like we are not about indigenous erasure, man. We're not out there going to, take away indigenous people's culture. You know what I mean? We're awakening you up to another side of it. You know what I mean? Versus, I know there's movements out there that want to deny our Gadite brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, their indigenous identity. I mean, you got, like I said, you got Negro only Israelites that deny us being Israelites from the get go, but it just shows, you know what I mean, how, it goes back to that Hosea 4:6, where we're destroyed from a lack of knowledge because you're more worried about what goes on in the movie and not paying attention to what's going on, in your own neighborhood. Like, yeah, you definitely should not be a person up there speaking. You should not be trying to put yourself in a leadership position, trying to think like you're for your people. And then at the same time, you're going to demonize, so-called Hispanics, because here's my question, right? Like when have Hispanics ever oppressed black people? You know what I mean? And then vice versa, when Hispanics talk about, that whole thing, when have black people ever oppressed Hispanics? You know what I mean? We don't even, you know what I mean? Like your last name you got came from a white man. It didn't come from a black or brown man. You know what I mean? Your indigenous nation, got forced on reservations by a white man, not by, black and, black men, not by our Judite brothers and sisters. Like we're in this state we're in only because of Esau, because of the so-called white man. And this is all, you know what I mean? Like propaganda and, how do I say it? Diversion tactics so that you keep hating on each other and you can't see the oppressor in the background. That's why that whole situation, right, with the no jumper interview was so heavy that Adam 22 got exposed because he's a Edomite, a white man up there trying to instigate, you know what I mean, racial tension between both groups. You know what I mean? So that's just, it comes to show like how, like, who's really at play here behind all of this. Go ahead, sir.
Right. Right. And if I could, it's a goddamn shame, Salakia, but it's a goddamn shame that all these nations want to call us mongoloids when it's the goddamn Edomites that been inbreeding throughout all these goddamn generations. You got white people with three eyes in their goddamn head. You know what I'm saying? You got cousins married cousins, brothers married with sisters. But they want to call us mongoloids. Their race is a race of shame and abomination. Us Hispanics, Issachar, we were a mighty tribe before the goddamn Spaniards came to us. We believed in stoning people. We believe in death upon adulteress. We had multiple wives. And it's a goddamn shame, that the world want to try to see us as mongoloids. We ain't no goddamn mongoloids. We the real deal. We the real Israelites of the Bible. Our ancestors lived with the commandments of the Bible. Before we were Mexicans, we were Israelites. We were Issachar, a mighty tribe. And we lived and died by honor. Ain't no goddamn mongoloids up in our tribe. Man, Salakia, that's it.
And Most High in Christ, if I could real quick, and you go back to that interview, right, with No Jumper and Adam. What you look at American Cholo, right? And what American Cholo did, what he said was an extreme offense to me. Because when that video started, and they're talking about bring Adam 22, call him up. American Cholo's like, man, if he's here, I'm gonna call him a culture vulture. I'm gonna call him a devil. I'm gonna say this and that. And then once they got Adam 22 on the phone, American Cholo's like, hey brother, what do you, you know, how you doing, brother? Our brother tucked his tail in right away as soon as that devil got on that phone. And the thing is that if you're gonna call white man the devil, man, stick to it. Don't tuck your tail in when he's in front of your face. You gotta. That's what makes the UPK so great and so strong, and that's why we are so different from all these groups. Whether you're Judite, Issachar, Black, or Hispanic, or those groups are in the world, we're completely separate. Separate. We're not affiliated with nobody outside of this group because we stick to what we say. You understand? When that European's in front of our face, man, he's the devil that the Bible speaks of. There ain't no, hey, brother, how you doing, brother? You know, I'm glad you came on the show, brother. Damn all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you know, it's so important what Commander Johanna taught us, because Commander Johanna taught us warfare, and we're bred in warfare in here, and we ain't tucking our tail. There ain't no hand joining hand. You know what I'm saying? We gonna stick to what we you know what we believe in. And American Cholo, he tucked his tail in. I saw that. Watch that video again, and he's gonna say, "Hey, brother, how you doing?" Damn that, bro. I lost complete respect for him. It sounded good. What the brother said, it sounded good. You know, he said he had like a lot of zeal for the raza and everything like that. But when Adam 22 got on the phone, he was quick to call him a brother. All that shit he was talking went right out the window. He ain't no radical, man. There's not someone that you can follow. You understand? The only men that can be followed are the men under Commander Johanna in the Israelite School UPK. Under Commander Johanna, where you're Black, Hispanic, Native American, Indian. This is right here. This is where you want to be at. This is where you get real strength. This is where you really gonna raise your people. You understand? American Cholo, you need to be right up in here. All them cats that y'all mentioned, they need to be right up in here, wearing all black, with a broom, with a rag, wiping down our tables, sweeping our floors, not saying a goddamn thing, and listening to every brother inside this room right here. Because we're going to teach these brothers how to really change Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We're going to show them how to really raise our people up. If they ain't in here, these are men that can't be followed.
Hey, okay, cool, man. Let me get real quick. I got Officer 50, Baraka Yala. Where are you tuning in from, Baraka Yala?
Hey, shalom, Adawanyam, Yabasha Shabakatam. I'm tuning in from Montreal right now, Canada.
Okay, Khan, give us a little scoop of what it's like in Montreal. Like, we ain't never been up there, so what is it like up there?
Right. So, besides the cold, I mean, couple weeks ago, right? I did a little tape. I went to check out the Gadites, where they live and everything, right? So I couldn't find any Gadite brothers that day, but in that particular spot, we had a lot of Issacharite brothers. Like, we have a lot of Issacharite brothers, especially in the east of Montreal, where I was. We had a lot of Issacharite brothers that just came in from Mexico to Canada, right? A lot of them from Mexico City, Oaxaca, Chihuahua, Chiapas. And they just came here basically to work, right? To start to do a living in Canada. So I started passing out flyers with the help of Officer 500 Yashakar that I had on the video call to help me translate and break down that we were the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, and that the Mexican brothers and sisters are from the tribe of Issachar, basically. And I'm planning on going back over there to pass on more flyers to the Issacharites that are over there that are just coming to Canada, and also to the other Northern Kingdom tribes that are throughout the city, especially in the east side of Montreal, which is where they congregate, where they mostly congregate, right?
Okay, Khan. Now let me ask you, how do the Hispanic brothers receive you when you tell them these things and you give them flyers? What is like the response you get from Hispanic brothers?
Honestly, I don't want. They were really willing to hear me out, right? It's not like they were going against what I was saying. So when so my Spanish is not the best, right? When I had a little trouble with the Spanish, I called Officer 500 Yashikar so he could help me break it down to them. But they were receiving me pretty well. They were not denying any of the facts that I was telling them, or Officer Yashikar was telling them, right? I just wish that day I was more prepared to bring like probably like bottles or sandwiches to the brothers and sisters to show more brotherhood, as well as passing them a flyer. But they're really receptive to it. I mean, mostly the brothers who were not as receptive to the truth as Yashikar was, is mostly like the Benjamite brothers up there. But besides that, Issachar is pretty receptive about learning about the truth. Even Salakia, right before you have the inconvenient truth every Wednesday, I go to the park where the Northern Kingdom gathers. They have little ciphers and freestyle, and it's mostly like Mexicans, Colombians, Dominicans, whatsoever. So I passed a few flyers around there, and they were asking me just to break it down even more for them. So I broke it down as much as I could, not giving them too much either, because you gotta feed baby food, right? So yeah, I don't want. I just pass on flyers and give them the truth and told them to tune in to either I speak in Mexico, Puerto Rico, Latin America, call an Officer Yashikar if they have any more questions, or they could reach me since they're in Montreal as well.
Okay, Con. And I was just asking that because I don't know what it's like up there in Montreal. I know as you start coming down more, Oregon and places like that, it starts to get more racial against Hispanic brothers and sisters. I know that right now the big thing, I think I spoke about it last week, was all that thing about, I don't know if you saw the show, but we're talking about the Pope going up there to speak about the Native American Indians and try to give them, shake their hand. But going back to what we were talking about, that's the reason why us in the UPK, that's why we don't believe in that handshake. That's why we don't believe in that smooth talk they give us, because just like this clown did, take some words, twist them around with the hopes of getting us to come against each other. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of things that they do. Malakma, do you have any of the videos that we were going to show today from that from that?
Salakia, one.
Go ahead.
I just want to add real quick. Montreal is in the province of Quebec, and Quebec is the most racist province in Canada, actually.
Damn.
Oh,
And
okay.
Salakia, if I could, out of one. If I could, this brother right here from Canada, this brother right here out of one, he be reaching out. He was looking for Gadites. He found nothing but Mexicans in that park. From Jalisco, Distrito Federal, Sonora, all over Mexico. All over Mexico, out of one. This brother's Spanish is hardcore as well. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to brothers from all over Mexico in Canada. That just shows all the way where our raza goes. We are Israel. We cannot be stopped. We go where we say we go. Some brothers don't even make it across the border, but other brothers make it across the world. And that's where we are. This is why the ISUPK is here under Commanding General Yahana. He sends us even to the place where brothers in Montreal, Canada are at to tell us about the truth. And if they can't, they call carnales like us to break it down, to chop it down. Every carnal that I spoke to that is currently in Canada was a humble brother that was willing to listen and learn on who we are. They know the goddamn pinche gringos are the pinche devils that the Bible speaks of. They know it because they lived through it. Because not only did they have to cross the goddamn border here in los Estados Unidos, they had to cross another border in Canada. It's devil after devil after devil. And then we all end up together in a park. And then my carnal from Canada is calling me to speak to them, to speak to the brothers that crossed the border that I was just right there 5 to 10 minutes away from. If it's not from Texas, it's from Texas to Cali. Toda la frontera. And that's why the ISUPK is very important to blacks, Hispanics, and natives, because we teach our brothers who we are, because we show our brothers brotherhood, because we're the ones that the Lord chose to break down the Bible the way it's meant to be broken down. Salakia, that's it.
No, all good, all good. Man, going back to what we were talking about, because that's the thing, man. Hispanic brothers are all over the place. We everywhere. Like the brother
The four
Barakayala is
corners of the
saying,
earth. Like,
we all over the place, man. We're everywhere. And yet, man, I wish we would have had that interview with that lawyer woman who went down to Power 106.
I got it, sir.
You got it? Oh man,
I got it.
If you got it, put it on. I hope that's the one. Because I didn't want to quote her. I want y'all to hear it.
You coming up with us, bro? Yeah, you with the blue jacket. Yeah, just hold on tight. Hold the front line out here for us. Appreciate it, but we gonna handle this black business in here.
You see, I don't see it yet. It hasn't come up.
What music? Can I hear it?
Black music.
Oh shit! Salakia, Malagma, can you put it on? Add to stream. Let me add it to the stream. Okay, there we go. Let's see if it goes on.
Yeah, just hold on tight. Hold the front line out here for us, bro. Appreciate it, but we gonna handle this black business in here.
Power 106 is a fact. The Power 106 plays what music? Can I hear it?
Black music. Hey, bro, keep him
on that one. Sly, I don't want that. That was just that was a whole clip right there. See if I can find a longer one.
Yeah, no, that's not the clip. I'm looking for the one where she's saying that Mexicans are lazy and that we don't do anything, and that we come here and we're we're not building anything, we're not doing anything, we don't contribute. That's the one I was looking for.
Right. I think she also said that we don't even fight for this country when we know for a fact some of the best soldiers that this country has is Issachar. You know what I mean? And a lot of these Issacharites that I'm talking about has been deported. So I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
I was man. I'm
so like you might have found.
Okay, let's see if you can find it, because I have not been able to find it, and I don't want to quote her. I want brother to see it.
Hold on, sir. I might have found it.
Yeah, that's just completely off.
Salakia, sir. While he grabbing that, if I could, real quick. One thing that's so disgusting is, you understand, like you got the Hispanic brothers come here and they work hard for their family. You understand, and they get paid little to nothing, working from sun up to sun down, doing the jobs that most niggas won't even do. You understand? Most black people are too lazy to put their hands to the plow like some of our Hispanic brothers. And then the sister want to turn around and speak so nasty and so ill of our brothers. That's something that is very disgusting. That's why the ISUPK is so important. You understand? Right. That's why Commanding General Yohana is so important, because what he's doing is something that has never been done before in America.
Right.
You understand? Since Abba Bivens, since the Seven Heads, and you understand, since what the ISUPK is doing is something so legendary. You understand? We're trying to fulfill Ezekiel 37. We're trying to take the two sticks and bring them one again. But you got simple-minded sisters that actually love Donald Trump, that love the philosophy of the so-called of our oppressors, and they are willing to say everything that's foul and disrespectful to our Hispanic brothers and sisters. Man, that's despicable to me. So Lucky.
Hey, Slacky, if I could real quick. Hey, what's your name, man?
Lakam Yala.
Lakam Yala. Let me tell you something, guys. And it's funny that everything the sister said was completely off, and it was a disgusting thing what she said. Right? She's talking about that Mexicans didn't build this country. They're coming over here, taking the jobs. They're racist against us. Along those lines, that's what she's saying. But at the same time, you got Mexicans that will say the same thing about other Mexicans. Don't forget, you had a whole organization called Latinos for Trump. Let's not forget that. You had some fool go on live television and say that Mexicans, you gotta stop them from coming over here, because if you keep allowing them to come over here, they're an aggressive people. And what you're gonna do is, if they come here, they're gonna build taco trucks all over the streets. So, like, we gotta hold our own people accountable for the dumb shit they say too. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of Mexicans that are racist against other Mexicans, and it's always the most darkest Mexican, the one looks straight from Mexico, that's most racist against Mexicans. That's the funniest thing. And it can go. It's even this, because I've seen this, and I've seen this in my own family. I've seen Mexicans who only speak Spanish who hate other Mexicans. They don't know a lick of English, but they're Donald Trump. If you come here, you gotta have your papers because you're ruining it for us. All the illegal immigrants are ruining it for the Mexicans that have papers. So it just, on both tribes, we fall for the same lie that the white man gives us, and that was it. You got that video? Let's see if you got that video. Let's see if that's the one.
Let's go in and represent.
Yeah, this is it.
People and our cause, the way that we always do, not the way that they present us as people who we are not. And again,
turn it up.
Meet with them, set forth our issues, put forth our demands, ask for a follow-up meeting, and a liaison that'll work directly with us to follow through on the actions that we're going to discuss. Either there, if they meet with us.
Súbele a one.
So, thank you. You guys ready?
Salaya, that's as loud as it goes.
All right, we're here. Let's see what happens. Let's see how that's going to work. But we're here.
Hey, bro, keep moving. Bro, you can't come up there with us, bro. How much you coming up with us, bro?
Damn.
Yeah, just hold on tight. Hold the front out here for us, bro. Appreciate it, but we will handle this black business here.
Whose uncle is that?
Damn.
Somebody's uncle want to come in. Excuse me.
Oh, that's not the one.
No, this is getting dragged out too long.
Yeah, skip to it. Double check.
All right, so Shelby, it's unfortunate because they know why we're here. They know that we are very upset that they are giving a platform to Gil Tejada, American Cholo, who, despite all of his, I'll just be blunt, lies and protestations, is claiming that he has not been calling Black people niggers, that he has not been calling Black people coons and ghetto. That is his issue, but it became our issue when he doubled down, despite the fact that he demanded that Tyga, who, by the way, we are Black Americans, no disrespect to Tyga, Tyga is not of our lineage. Tyga is not equipped to speak for us. One, because he does not come from our lived experience.
Good
it's
night.
Very important that anybody in this
And let us speak.
You cannot allow other people to speak for you, because what we have is in our DNA. It's in our oral history. It's passed down. The greatness that is us is because it is our culture. So when you have other alleged Black people speaking for you who come from homes with a completely different culture, it is not disrespectful for us to not have them speak for us. We don't speak for Haitians. We don't speak for Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Afro-Latinos. We don't speak for any African group. Why? Because we're not of the culture. We don't know enough about those cultures to speak for those people, and nor should we dare do that. So back to Tiger, this is another reason we're here. We have to stop allowing people to call people to the carpet on our behalf. And we've got to educate people like Tiger to understand that it is incumbent upon non-Black Americans to say, I am not a Black American freedman. I am not a Black American leader. I am not a Black American slave. I am not from the United States, where I can trace my lineage all the way back to enslavement. We've got to hold non-FBA, Foundational Black Americans, freedmen, to the highest standard possible. People are calling us xenophobic, divisive. No one tells the Chinese that they shouldn't, that they're divisive because they don't include themselves in Japanese culture. Nobody tells the Cubans that they are divisive because they want to delineate from Mexicans. So back to Tiger. What we have with Tiger is Tiger had no business speaking for us. He should have just spoken for Tiger because they called him to the table as a representative of Black American freedmen, which he is not, and we're all fully aware of that. So then the second prong of this is Tiger gracefully apologized. Tiger held himself to the standard of a man, and he apologized. On the other hand, the guy, Gil Tejada, the Latino who claims to be, who pretends to be a Mexican American, who's actually a Honduran, which is weird because he's just as brown as us, but he would not apologize once we noticed, well, hey, wait a minute. You want Tiger to apologize because you believe he has disparaged your people, but you don't want to apologize to Black Americans, and we can pull up video after video after video of you, and I'm gonna say the word, of you calling Black Americans niggers, coons, ghetto, and laughing about it. And in no moment to this point has he said, you know what, I was wrong for that. So now what he's doing, so now let's get to the Tariq Nasheed aspect of it. So now what he's doing is Tariq said to him, Tariq Nasheed, for those of you who don't know, is a very, very popular, how would I describe him? He's a podcaster, he's an entertainer extraordinaire, he's an influencer, yeah, educator. Right. He's a modern day Renaissance man, right? Which comes from our culture. What did you say? Well, now, we all have to eat. Yeah. You know what? I don't expect anybody that's doing movement work to go broke. Right. I'm going to digress and get back on point. Let's stop accusing people of being grifters who are actually out there doing the work. People want activists to travel all around and show up and talk to the congressional Black caucus. So if you want people to do work, support them. If you believe that person is honestly working, I just want to throw that out there. So now back to Tariq. This isn't about Tariq. This isn't about Tiger. What this is about is the continued disrespect where people are, it's so many things going through my head. I'm thinking about the Beyonce situation right now, the Lizzo situation. Everybody has their thumb on us. Everybody wants to hold us accountable for things that are typically out of our control or we didn't do. So back to the Tariq, Tiger, Gil Tejada, fake American Cholo guy. So he doesn't want to apologize. And what Tiger said, like a man, Tariq, the T's and the T's and the T's. So what he said was, hey, let's meet in the studio. I mean, you can meet in my studio. I can meet at your studio. Did he do that? No. He declined the offer. He literally declined. And now what he's doing is running from show to show, from podcast to podcast, pretending that Tariq, and as we know, people are trying to make Tariq the leader of our grassroots movement. We are a people that are coalescing and coming together behind a bonded, I don't even know what did you call it? Not even just our lineage. Well, I'm actually talking about the trauma. We're all here because we're bonded from the trauma of enslavement till today. And for those of you that don't know, I'm not going to get into all of this. Some of us were here before. Some of us did come to enslavement. But anywho, don't say anything that I say. So what we have to understand is that this guy, Gil Tejada, is creating a false, he's creating a false narrative. Yes, he's creating, guys, should I wait until everyone comes back in? That's an open racist who's now running around creating a false narrative that Tariq is the racist and that Black Americans are the racist, and that we're trying to create a race war. When in fact, all he had to do was meet Tariq like a man and squash it in a studio as an entertainer. It shouldn't be at a level. Now he was on a podcast with Snow, he was on No Jumper. I can't remember the other podcast. So what he's doing is he's running around telling people, oh, well, Tariq is creating a situation where people can die in the streets. Tariq's doing no such thing. He's doing that. He had an opportunity to meet with Tariq. He did not meet with Tariq. He declined to meet with Tariq. He's pulling up to studios with 50 guys with him, some of them essays, in white beaters. Visual. What? Gang activity. Then he shows up on No Jumper and tries to deflect and says, well, Tariq chopped the video up. I was repeating what was said to me. Everybody knows the cardinal rule. No non-Black person, not even Caribbeans, Africans, Afro-Latinos, none of them. No one gets to say nigger, ever. Shut it down. Do not allow it. I don't care if it's the homie. I don't care if it's a family member. Shut it down. How are you still going on television and using coon word and ghetto, and you know that you're not supposed to do that? So he's trying to back up what he's doing by saying, oh, I was telling a story, but we have too many videos.
Hey, we're trying to find the part where she talks about the Mexicans, man. I'm tired of listening to
John.
Now we're here at Power 106, 2600 West Olive Street, Burbank, California. Why are we here? Because they're giving them a platform. They're giving this guy a platform. He's been saying the N-word forever, and they know it. Then they gave him a platform to sit and lie. So that's our first issue with it. Our second issue with Power 106 is the fact that Power 106 plays what music? Can I hear it? Hip hop, R&B. What else? I don't know. Jazz. I don't know. But they're playing our music. Right. They're playing our music 24/7. What's wrong with that picture? If we had a station and we played Latino music and all of the on-air personalities were Black American freedmen, would it go down? Right. Right. And that's going to take me back to our boy, Fake Cholo, Gil Tejada, the American Cholo. Okay. So, what did you just say? Because I got a little off.
Yeah, if we do the same thing,
right. Nowhere in this country does anybody else's culture get appropriated. Yes, we have the best culture in the world. Yes, we're great people. Yes, we're a beautiful, creative, intelligent, 50,000 patents for those of you that don't know. Look it up. We them boys. But everybody feels that they're entitled to come here and get a piece of us, the American dream. But we're never supposed to demand mutual respect. So to your point, what's his name? The fake Cholo, Gil. He looked into a camera and said, hey, black people shouldn't get reparations. Oh, I got a big problem with that. Now you're really, oh, now what you're doing is you're messing with our livelihood. You're messing with our families. Now you talking about you want to start a war. You're not going to take money out of our families' mouths. That's what you're not going to do. So what he is doing is he said, all the Latinos should get together and protest our reparations.
Right. Sure did. Sure did, LaRasa.
Now, what do we do when we don't like something? We go out and advocate for ourselves. If we ever had a moment in time where we went and said they shouldn't get this ethnicity shouldn't get this. Even right now, with all the billions and trillions that the United States government is pouring into the immigrants that come here, immigrants who paid no dues. But you can land on this country on a Monday and on a Friday, you have a whole EBT card. You have a whole housing voucher. You have a whole transportation voucher. They have English lessons set up for you, technology lessons set up for you. And we're the people starving in our country. That's why this is important. No one's going to eat off of our plate anymore. We're shutting this down. So when we get to the demands, we're going to talk about that. So the first issue is them giving a platform to an openly known hostile racist who is now going around trying to create some type of gangland activity that's not happening, that he's created. The second issue is that Power 106, if we had been allowed in their offices, what do you think those faces would have looked like? I'm just curious. You think anybody looked like us? Right. We're already being displaced in Los Angeles, and I'm hearing about it all over the country. You go into Smart and Final, Home Depot, McDonald's, restaurants, even the corporate jobs. When they're like,
all right, you guys, I'm in this video. We're here at $2,600, Power 106. And,
hey, let's see if we can. It didn't come up. That was the video, but we got to the point. We heard her speak out. You know what I mean? We heard some of the things she had to say. Go ahead, Malak, turn that video. Let's get off that video, man. Garbage, man. I can't believe we sat through that whole damn thing. But just get you an idea of what these people are, what people like her are thinking about, you know, in Cali. You know, that's the kind of shit you're gonna go through. But you know, I'm gonna tell you something though. You know, like when you're dealing with the Black and Hispanics, you know, really out here, you're walking like on your tippy toes, so that no one says anything that other people might get offended. All of a sudden, people are offended by everything people say. You know, when you really like, you can tell that woman's not from the streets. Because in the streets, we all get along a different way. She obviously is not from the streets. She's some stupid lawyer or some wannabe lawyer, including that whatever he is, Kashif, you know what I mean? And gives you an understanding that she wants to give all the credit to herself about talking about, oh, you know what, you know, the hip hop and all this. She thinks she knows about everything. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm like, y'all don't know this, man, but I'm like super old school. Like I'm super old school. Like I was around and into music when some of the first hip hop music got on radio. We didn't hear it on Power 106 out here. The first radio station to ever break out real hip hop music was a radio station out here that was known as KDAY, and it was on an AM station. And all the music that was coming out was coming from New York. It wasn't coming from LA. LA wasn't playing any hip hop music. All this music that was coming out here was coming from New York. And let me tell you something. It wasn't coming only from, like she said, oh, it's only a black thing. Nah, brother. It was actually Jamaicans. And I'll tell you a name. I'll drop a name. His name was Kool Herc. I know you heard of Kool Herc. DJ Kool Herc was probably the pioneer of hip hop music. And he wasn't a black American. He was Jamaican. That's where that came from. And next to DJ Kool Herc was Puerto Rican brothers who were also doing the same thing out here. They were bringing that music in, and she's trying to, she's talking about people are appropriating culture. You know what? She's the one appropriating intelligence because she doesn't have any.
Yeah,
hang on. We know in the industry, man, we know who to give credit to. Like I know who to give credit to. Like we don't like Mexican people don't take credit for hip hop. We don't. We know exactly where it's coming from. So all that she's talking about is that she's full of shit, thinking that we're trying to take somebody's music, but it's all our music. Because when you think about it, Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, Latinos, Morenos, and even Nativos, we created all the music that's being appropriated today. So really, in her point of view, she doesn't even know what the fuck she's talking about, to tell you the truth. Because the music doesn't even come from either one of us. It's coming from the Jamaican brothers. And in Jamaica, I was talking to one of the brothers from, from England, right? The brothers from England. And the brothers from England, they're from Jamaica. And I told the brother from Jamaica, I said, Carnal, do you know what the sound system is? And he goes, yeah, I know what sound system is. I told him, you know what? I used to collect a lot of ska and reggae and dancehall. And one of my records that I collected, my vinyl, it had the story of the beginning of where the DJ culture came from. This record is like from the probably late 70s to early 80s. And on the record, it tells the story of the beginning of the DJ music, of two turntables and the mixing. And it comes from Jamaica. And it was known as a sound system. And they get two different groups and they create the sound system and go up against each other in parks, in parties, and things like that. And this was in the 60s and the 50s when this record is time that this record is talking about. The 50s and the 60s. That's before DJing came to New York in the 70s. So this guy, Kool Herc, being Jamaican, you can imagine that this brother grew up in the 60s and he heard this and he brought it with him when he came to New York and became the pioneer of that music in New York. So when you hear this woman talking, she's trying to incorporate what's happening today, accusing people of taking this and this, Hispanic and Blacks. And in reality, she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Because if you talk to somebody who really knows about the music, like the brothers from Jamaica, they'll tell you where this whole thing started. And the Jamaican brothers are actually the ones who started all that. Just like the cumbia music, the music we listen to in Mexico came from Puerto Rico, came from Cuba. That's where that music originates from the islands. That's the island music, not from Africa. It doesn't come from no African culture. It comes from Dominicans. It comes from Puerto Ricans. It comes from Cubans. It comes from Pérez Prado. It comes from Celia Cruz. It comes from artists in those times who made that music. You know what I'm saying? When you listen to this woman is she's full of shit. You know what I'm saying? And Salakia, go ahead. Anybody?
Yes, Salakia, if I could. This sister is completely off, man. She has a red flag to red flag after red flag. This sister is a sister that thinks and talks like a white woman. You know what I mean? She's completely off. She's saying that you know that we can't let Tiger speak for us. Tiger was speaking for himself. Tiger was talking about the song that he did. You know what I mean? So this sister was, and then she was acting like she was a representative for Black people. You know what I mean? Like this sister is completely wrong. And you're right. Yeah, Jamaican music did start this hip hop stuff because I grew up with Jamaicans too, and yeah, that's true what you said. Are the one that the Jamaicans were like the ones who actually started this hip hop rap shit. But this is just completely wrong, absolutely wrong.
Anybody can jump in. Go ahead.
It's a lot out of them.
Go ahead.
If I may, just like you said, she's trying to say like basically there's like cultural appropriation, as if Mexicans are claiming hip hop for themselves or whatever the case is. And like really what she should have said is that all the other heathen nations that are around us are culturally appropriating our culture, whether it comes to the music, the food, the way we dress, the way we speak, right? Because in Japan right now, they having dancehall parties, right? Playing dancehall and everything, trying to dance like how we dance in the Caribbeans. The white man is doing reggae songs. The Japanese are appropriating the Cholo culture as well.
Yeah.
Cholos, right? Every single nation on the face of the earth is copying what we do because we are the salt of the earth, and they cannot do any type of music because we invented all the music. We have the best food, we have the best dance, we have the coolest slangs, the way we talk as well, right? So since they have no flavor, they have to take it from somewhere. And just like the devil they are, I mean, they've been robbing everything, just like they're robbing the land, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Man, Salakia, if I could,
Go ahead.
man, Salakia, not only are we the salt of the earth, but blacks, Hispanics, and natives, we are the builders of the earth. We're the
Khan.
ones who built this goddamn cursed nation. And we only build it because of murder, death, rape, pillage. That's why we build it. Because of our goddamn oppressors. You know, it's like I said, if you ain't in ISUPK, then you ain't in the goddamn truth. And I don't know what you're doing with your goddamn life. Because only us hold the truth. It's only us who hold the scripture breakdowns. Don't nobody understand what the Bible means but the ISUPK. Every Christianity, every religion think they gotta love the goddamn white man when it's the goddamn white man that murdered and destroyed us. We speak a white man's language from Spanish to English. It's all European. So, I mean, it's like I say, you gotta be in this truth. The truth is the IUPK under commanding General Yohana. Orale, that's it.
If I could jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Slice, sir, if I could real quick. I would be highly surprised if that so-called black woman is not married to a white man.
Right.
I would be highly surprised if she even is a real black woman. Her father might be a devil, whoever, but she
Hey.
just don't carry the spirit that a
Mhm.
typical person, like you said, Adawan, that is born in a hood, born in a ghetto has. And she is a example of everybody should not have a voice or a platform. Salagia.
Right. Yeah, it's a lock. Yeah, I don't want. I mean, if she does have a white man, I guarantee that white man
Right.
was telling her everything that she had to say.
Right. So, like, if I could, real quick, just what came to mind when she was speaking was that scripture. What is it? 2 Timothy 2:12, where I suffer not a woman to teach, because she's so ignorant, man. She straight up said that Tiger's not her lineage, right? So that shows her ignorance because Tiger's father is a black man, is her people. Now in her mind, she's thinking, no, you got to be blood, not even knowing that your lineage comes from your father, not from the mother. You know what I mean? And this is why you should, like for whoever is in charge of that movement, right? Like, why, like, this is why you don't put your women on the battlefield. You know what I mean? Like, as misogynistic as people want to claim that is, like, she was up there, didn't even know like what she was talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Con.
She straight up like alienated herself from Afro Latinos, from Caribbeans, Benjamites, from I forgot who else, from
Everybody.
she everybody, even Africans. You know what I mean? So at least you could say she has some sense to know that she's not an African, but then like even like they're on. I don't know what tip this movement's on, man. Like they just like good night, like they cut themselves out from the Afro Latinos and the Caribbeans. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Which is brothers that have, when you want to be on a cardinal level, got your same complexion, are going through the same struggles you go through, and then saying you telling them they can't say that word. You know what I mean? Like good night. Like who made you the leader? You know what I mean? Like good night,
Right.
man. The whole
And
time I was just like,
I was gonna
so
say
like I just
it.
want to say this.
Go ahead.
I'll say, man, the whole time I'm thinking of like you just need to shut your damn mouth.
Right.
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 Salakia, if I may, just to jump back onto what Officer Yashikar just said, into what Officer Lahab was saying earlier, right? So basically, Officer Yashikar just said, blacks, Hispanics, and Native, right? We built these worlds. We built these nations, these so-called mighty empires, right? We made the world go round. And just like the American, like Officer Lahab was saying, just like the Americans not wanting Mexicans in America, saying they steal their jobs or whatever bullshit excuse they make up, or other Mexicans not wanting Mexicans into America, right? We kind of like have the same problem with some Benjamites. I will not speak on the other. I will not speak for the English Benjamites, but for the French Benjamites like me, right? France do not want us in Europe. They do not want us in France. You understand? And other Benjamites like from Guadeloupe or Martinique or French Guyana do not want other Benjamites coming from the islands to France, saying we're lazy, um, we're good for nothing but being womanizers and like smoking weed, selling drugs, or partying, whatever the case is, right? When the Empire of France was built off of our backs, just like it was built off of us, off of the Haitians back as well. You understand? It is so hypocritical from France not wanting us on their territory, right? When we're seeking a better way of life than on the island, because they never actually freed us. We never got our independence from them. So we're technically French, per se, right? But then again, the white man is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, so shouldn't be surprised about that.
Don.
So, like, sir, if I could, real quick, I just wanted to add something real quick that shows this, shows her ignorance, man. Like, it just trips me out every time. You know what I mean? Like, every time, somebody's got something negative to say about Mexicans. You know what I mean? Like, people always want to point out the immigration issue with Mexicans. You know what I mean? With the raza. When y'all don't realize, right? Like, and I'm speaking in general to people out there in the world, right? A lot of y'all do not realize that this is our land. This is our homeland. We are not immigrants on our own soil. We get treated, like immigrants in our own home. We get treated like we're not welcome here when this is our home. You know what I mean? So it trips me out every time I gotta hear that I gotta go back to where I came from. I gotta, speak English here. First of all, English and Spanish are my languages. That's not my the language of my ancestors.
Right.
That's something that the white man put on us. This
Damn right.
land, the Haitian problem only exists because a group of real illegal immigrants came over here and stole the land from my indigenous ancestors. So,
Right.
it's just very, like Salaki, just the ignorance when you hear from Mexicans, when you hear from many Israelites saying that when you're ignorant to the reality of who Mexicans are and where they come from. You know what I mean? We are indigenous people of this land, and we don't get no representation on Power 106. Last I
Right.
checked, the only time I heard Raza music on Power 106 was every Sunday, once a week. Right? Pocos
Right.
pero locos. That's all I remember. Majority of the time they
Yes.
were playing hip hop music. You know what I mean? So I don't know where the sisters trying to come off protesting Power 106. Like we're trying to take that from them. You know what I mean? Like, good night, man. Like it's just, and it's sad because she's just the one speaking, but there's a bunch all them Judites right there think like her. You know what I mean? And that's what's
Hmm.
sad. You saw the way they treated that one, Latino brother. They kept him out. Didn't even welcome him in. You know what I mean? Which is just sad. That's the whole movement. And I'm gonna just say this real quick. A quick question: what religion you think they all are?
They all
Christians.
Exactly. Like you. I rest my case. I pass the
Man,
the next one.
Salakia, canal. If I could, man, Officer Malag want to be speaking fire because they want to call us lazy. We're the ones who built this goddamn nation. America was built under the blood and sweat of blacks, Hispanics, and natives. It wasn't built under nobody else. They want to call us lazy. We built the fucking Salaka. We built the goddamn highways that you be driving in, that you use to go to your goddamn work. This is our continent. It never belonged to nobody else. Like Officer Malagma said, we speak English because y'all goddamn bastards are from England. We speak Spanish because our goddamn conquistadores son de España.
Right.
This was never our language. This is not their continent. It belongs to us.
Right.
Damn
That's
right.
it.
Salaki out of one. I just want to touch on something real quick about what Officer Yashikar and Officer Malakma said, right? So yeah, the continent belongs to us because okay, so like Officer Malakma said, he said we're indigenous to here, which is not a false statement, but the truth is we're not indigenous to here because we were the first. Yes, we were the first settlers, but we're actually indigenous to the Middle East, right? So yes, if you want me to go back home, right? Summon them chariots so we could go back in the Middle East. Summon them chariots so we could go back into Israel, right? Where we actually are indigenous from, Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. But then again, we are the first settlers over here, so it is our home. We claim it first. The white man's are just a goddamn thief.
Right.
If I could real quick,
Go ahead.
just being brief. Here's something else that was I found very funny. How she was so quick to talk, you know, how he was trying to stop her from getting her reparations. I mean, what reparations are you getting? You understand? Like you still begging for 40 acres and a mule. It's not going to happen in this kingdom. You understand? Like that's why again the ISUPK is so important because in here we pray that the Lord speedily give us our rightful reparations, which He's going to give us. Like he's the scriptures tell us what our reparation is. We're not going to beg for 40 acres and a mule. We want the Lord to repay unto them double of what they've given us. So like it.
I'm gonna say this, you see on both sides, American Cholo and her, they're fighting,
Right.
they're fighting with ignorance. They're speaking ignorance because, biblically we both know this is not our rest. This is not our place. Might have been our place at one time. We might have enjoyed it at one time, but now it's not our place no more. This place, no matter even if they give you something, they don't give you nothing. They don't give you nothing with nothing without them knowing they're going to get something in return. So even if they gave you a piece of land, that piece of land was going to be taxed on you. The Native American Indian was given reservations, and in 1940s and 1940s, what they did with their land is nuclear tests for the atomic bomb. And then what they did in 1945 was nuclear waste sites for the Native American Indian land. That's what it became. It was their land, supposedly, and then it became waste sites and nuclear sites for testing. And even now, in our time, the Native American land has become a pipeline to bring oil from Canada into the United States. So even now, when you think it's yours, it's not even yours. The house you own is not yours. The car you own is not yours. Your job is not yours. Your kids is not yours. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that they have here, we're fighting. We're fighting blacks and Hispanics. We're fighting each other, and they're standing around laughing at us, knowing that we're fighting for nothing because none of it is ever going to be ours. Because we're fighting in vain. Because everything that we have, that we see, it's never ours. That's why we're being gentrified. That's why we're being pushed out. That's why we're being deported. That's why you're being murdered in the streets. That's why we are the way we are. That's why we're in the ISUPK, because we've realized the truth is that this is not our place. And the Lord tells us that. So we've come to reason with the reality that we know what it's all about. And we know that what we got to do is pray for destruction of this place. That's what we're doing. Right. We're praying for the destruction of this place. Let them keep their 20 acres in the mule. Let them keep their block. Let them keep their gang-ridden neighborhoods. Let them keep all their garbage. Let them keep their music. Let them keep it all. Because anyways, in a matter of time, it won't exist no more. It'll become nothing. What we got to do is we got to remember that what we're here for is to wake our people up to the reality of what we see. And that is the destruction of this kingdom, because that's what it really is. They're fighting for nothing, man. They fight in vain. They fight for stupidity. They fight for things that are material that will never exist with them again. and all that. These people think they're intelligent on both sides, both American Cholo and this woman. They no different. They both the same. They both live in a little ignorance. They both live in a matter of ignorance where they don't understand what's really going on. There's no difference between them. There's no difference between any of them. Because if they were a little bit smarter, they would understand that we have to come together. You know, American Cholo, he rolled in there with all his raza, Should have rolled in there. You know what? If UPK, if we would have gone there, we would have gone there with Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, like we always do. We all would have rolled up together. And they would have looked at us, and you would have seen the blackity black side, and then you would have seen the brownie brown side, and then you would have seen us, because that's the way it really is. The way it really is that we're the men in the middle. They're on that side. One is on the left side, one is on the right side, and here we come with black and brown, united as one. And that is a difference, because I guarantee you, if they'd have seen us in there, they wouldn't have known what to say. They wouldn't have known how to act when they would have seen what we had to say about both points of views. Because yeah, maybe American Cholo might have had one good point. Maybe that other woman might have had one good point, but our point of view is perfect. Because the Lord says, right, be ye perfect like I am perfect. And that's what we are. We perfect. We going in with a perfect plan to bring together Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. We going in there with the perfect plan. So on my point of view, both sides, both him and her, have no idea what they're talking about. Both of them have no idea what's going on. Because if they did, they'd have been talking about straight up Black and brown unite. Nothing else. Who cares if I said the word nigga? I'm here with all my Black brothers, and they're gonna respond for me.
Right.
Who cares if he said Mexican? I'm here with all my Mexican brothers, and they're gonna stand up for me. And when we say things that others find offensive, well, I'm standing right here next to my nigga who's gonna tell you that it's okay for me to say that because that's my brother. And if I'm standing here with my raza brother, my Mexicano, my wetback, my beaner, whatever you want to call him, if I say that, who gives a damn if I say that? That's my brother, and I can call him whatever the fuck I want to call him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's who we are, because now we understand each other. Because most importantly, we understand who our oppressor is. And we're re-educating ourselves and mentally changing the way we see the perspective of things to understand that the enemy is them and not us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead.
Salakia, real quick. Even before the truth, I mean, I've always said this, and I'm gonna keep saying it, right? Mexicans, any Latinos, they're just Spanish-speaking niggas at the end of the day.
Man, in a way, we are, because we got the same. How could I say? We got the same habits that Black people have. You know why you call a nigga? Because some of the habits he has. Because he has a habit of barbecuing outdoors with all his people. That's nigga shit right there. Because you're gonna kick it on the front porch with all your people and just sit there and chill all day long. That's nigga shit right there. Because you're gonna roll around in your car bumping music. That's some nigga shit right there. Because you're gonna go to the store and buy a 40 ouncer and go back home and sit there and drink it. That's nigga shit right there. That's that. And then when I say nigga shit, I'm talking about Mexicans, because we do the same thing. That's the Mexican shit right there. We do the same damn thing. That's Israel. We're doing the same. And I'm not saying nigga because of a color. I'm saying nigga because of the habits and the customs and traditions that we have, that we are so similar with. We up, all of us here, at what time is it? At my side, it's 11 o'clock at night. All my neighbors is asleep. A lot of them is white. You know what I'm saying? And I'm up talking to a bunch of niggas about shit that we talk about all day long. And because I don't have a drink. If I had a drink, I'd be out here longer. You know what I'm saying? But I'm short of drink tonight. I'm short of drink and I'm missing it already.
Salaki, Adawan, just to touch on what you were saying nigga is like you say, it's not a color thing, right? Because we have to remember los conquistadores, when they came here, they called the natives and Mexicans and all the Latino brothers los negros de la tierra, meaning the blacks of the land. right? And we're of different shades of brown, from white sand to black sand. So it really wasn't about skin color at all. They made it about skin color after slavery, right? But then again, the origin of it is not about skin color in the first place, because like um like the Bible said, the Jews are black unto the ground. So we're different shades of brown, from dark brown, right, to super light brown. It don't really matter. So at the end of the day, Mexicans are niggas.
Gone, absolutely. Man, it's I don't know what time it is with everybody, but I'm gonna let everybody get a last word in. So I'm gonna start with the brothers from Gary, Indiana. Go ahead and just tell us what was up today, man, about the whole show. Let us know what's happened, man.
Khan, sir. I definitely just want to say Tawada to you for hosting us and allowing us to, be on the show. As far as today, the things that transpired between American Cholo and that simple-minded woman, if I could just sum it up to one word, which is ignorance. And that's something that we have to cut away like it's a cancer between blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We have to cut away the ignorance, the not knowing of the Hispanic culture, the not knowing of the black culture, and just come together as one, as Christ prescribed in the Bible.
Right. It's a lot. And if I could again, the water to you, sir, for having us on. And if I could, if I could sum everything up, it would be in Hosea 4:6. You know what I'm saying? My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And because we have rejected knowledge, what knowledge are we rejecting right now? We're rejecting the knowledge of loving one another as blacks and Hispanics. We're rejecting the knowledge of the only way that we can get out of here is if we come together. That's the knowledge that we're rejecting. We have to unify. That black and brown unity is very important to survive. It's vital to our livelihood. You understand? That's the knowledge that we're rejecting. And because we reject that as a people, that's why everything keep happening the way it keep happening. Salagia, sir.
The water. Go ahead, Barack Yala.
Khan, if you don't mind, I'm gonna do this one in Spanish real quick.
Ándale pues.
Lo único que yo quiero decir es, Toar Arwan, gracias por invitarme aquí esta noche en la Pura Neta. Es muy apreciado, muy amable estar aquí con los Arawanyam Wa'akiam, es un placer. Pero tal como les dije a oficial Yashakar, todavía necesito practicar más mi español.
Yeah, man, you doing
You
real
sound great.
good, carnal. You doing real good. Hell yeah. I don't know why hey, Yashikar, why isn't he doing the show every Sunday, man?
Right.
I don't want,
You know what
I
I'm
don't want,
saying?
if I could, he's about to, I don't want, porque este carnal es desde Canadá, I don't want. Y lo único que me ha enseñado en camcorder y todo ese jale es pura raza en los parques de Montreal, Canadá. Lo único que me ha enseñado él, Arwan. Yo estoy manejando en el pinche trailer y el carnal aquí me está hablando para poder hablar con carnales de Oaxaca, de Distrito Federal, de Jalisco, de Sonora,
De Chiapas.
de Chiapas, hoy no más, chingado, de todos los pinches, man, I don't want, neta, este carnal aquí, todos, ISUPK México, if I could, ISUPK México tiene que ir para Canadá para hablar con toda la raza que está ahí en los parques que este carnal va, porque hay chingos de raza, chingos, que no saben hablar ni español, no, que no saben hablar inglés, Canadá, French, todo, lo único que saben hablar es español. Y este carnal aquí me está poniendo con carnales que solamente hablan español. O sea, es bien importante, Arwan. Bien importante, Salakia. Y este carnal, if I could, si se puede, este carnal is going to be in la Pura Neta as much as I can make it happen.
Absolutely,
Porque
absolutely, man.
este carnal, he's fighting for Issachar to be in the truth to the fullest in Canada. Salaki, I don't want to go ahead, sir.
No, absolutely, man. That's what we need too. Because let me tell you something. When Hispanic brothers see our black brothers, speak to us, because you don't know this, but in Mexico we're used to seeing black brothers speak Spanish because of the Dominicans, the Salvadoreños, a lot of black Salvadoreños, Guatemaltecos, Hondureños, a lot of Hondureños. They're with that punta. You know what I'm saying? That punta. They love that punta, bro. And Mexicans, we with that. So we're used to seeing all that, out here in this area. So for us, when a black brother speaks Spanish to us it's just like, oh, it's another, definitivamente probably Dureño or Dominicano. So to us, it's natural for us to see that. Let me go with Halak. Halak, we didn't hear from you all day, Halak. Go ahead, Halak.
Shalom, Lord in Christ, sir. Yahweh Shami, how shall Barakatam, sir? How you doing, Adawan?
Good. Go ahead, Halak. Let us know.
Well, right now, just by the looks of everything, sir, it's all about race war right now. You got John Leguizamo, the actor, too, talking about James Franco. What's going on with American Cholo. That makes no sense. That was funny that you were saying that. American Cholo. Que pendejada. Salaki, I don't. But these people are educated. They're not edified. That's the big difference. And they can try to fix the problems for our people, but it ain't gonna work if they don't have the Bible and everything that the Lord and the UPK has been teaching us since 1969, sir. Thanks to General Yohana and the mighty men and officers and priests that put their lives every day on the line. I know it's not easy doing this, but for none of us, especially the things that we know is so sacred and precious. But our people are confused if they think they're gonna roll in there with 50 deep for Adam 22. I don't know if you guys know who Adam 22 is, but he's a porn industry guy. He's very locked in. He was playing $1 million chips on the table. And you know what those $1 million chips were for? For protection. That's what it's for. I already got the scoop. It's $1 million that he was playing on chips was for the protection if any of those vatos try to do anything. That's why that lady came out saying all those type of stuff about our people. And that's why they're so quick to throw us in the gutter, because they know that it's just a matter of time. World War III is inevitable. It's just a matter of, I don't know, like 5-10 years. We're really into it, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy for it because of the struggle that we're going through, and it's enough that they're putting us against each other. We need to really observe the story of the 12 brothers when Jacob gave the cloth to Joshua. We need to stop that. All that, we need to really come together in this truth. Because if we're outside of the box out of here, it ain't gonna work. Nothing's gonna work. I'm gonna try to do my own thing. It ain't gonna work. So just with that, I want to thank everybody that's here too, sir, putting in the time, the work. I know it's not easy. We got a lot of stuff that hold us back, weigh us down, but the devil is alive and it's real. And this thing is spiritually, physically, emotionally is real. So it's just a matter of times before the big bang, and we're out of here, man. Catch a seat on the chariot and roll out of this bitch. That's all I have to say, Adawan. Salam, sir. Salaki.
Right, Kanto, water. Go ahead, Ayar.
Well, if I could, Adawan, I mean, just real short, like we have to have these conversations, you know what I mean? Like all this with Adam 22 and American Cholo and that lawyer, you know what I mean? These conversations have to be held, you know what I mean? Because in the ISUBK, man, we've been talking about these subjects, you know what I mean? We've been saying black or brown, unity, unite or die, you know what I mean? Like that's what the ISBK is so important, because at the end of the day, deep down inside, they do want black and brown unity. They just don't have the solution, and the ISBK, we have the solution, under Commander General Yohana, you know what I mean? So if everybody's watching this, man, if you're really about the black and brown unity, man, and you really want to do something, you know what I mean? We're here, you know what I mean? ISBK under Commander General Yohana. That's it, I don't want.
All All right, Salaki. All right, shalom, man. Go ahead, Malakma.
Come on, sir. Like, just it was a heavy, like it just comes to show. And I'm gonna say this. I don't want real quick. What all this looks like, right? All these movements outside of the ISUPK world, it really looks like is both of them begging for the crumbs that the oppressor's giving out at the table. You know what I mean? Like they're both pushing and shoving each other to get those crumbs. You know what I mean? Because that's what I've seen. Like lately, like with all like all these movements and whatnot. Like they gotta throw each other under the bus so they could be the ones to get the crumbs. But at the end of the day, it's like, what do you care about fuck the white man's table, man? Make your own table. You know what I mean? Why you want crumbs for when you can have you can have the whole plate when you make your own, and the only way you're gonna do that, the only way you're gonna have your own is to come in amongst your own, to come in brotherhood and build in brotherhood and sisterhood. You know what I mean? And that only exists here in the ISUPK under commanding General Yahana. You know what I mean? The ISUPK is the true pro-black movement. It's the true pro-Raza movement. You know what I mean? It's the true pro-indigenous, the true decolonization movement, man. Everything else outside Salaka is just some form of Christianity because everyone else, all they want to do is for everyone to come together as one. A lot of y'all, even that FBA movement, best believe they love the white man. I've heard it from these brothers right here. Like showing the love for having respect for Esau, calling them brother. Saying they got white friends. Everyone outside can't recognize that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. That this is our enemy that has created these conditions. You know what I mean? You blame, like we blame each other for the conditions we're in. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna speak on behalf of the Raza, right? Because that's who I'm. That's my my background. So our Raza team, for supposedly taking jobs and leeching out the welfare, right? Not realizing, who created all that in the first place. You know what I mean? Why is it that, the jobs are scarce? Why we got to get welfare in the first place? You know what I mean? Because this oppressor has created the conditions to do so. We're a hardworking people, man. Both black and brown. I see Judah brothers, man, that work just as hard as Mexicans. You know what I mean? But we get these stigmas, these stereotypes that have been pushed on us, from Esau. And we tend to believe them, you know what I mean? Because we see them as God. We see them as a righteous people. We see them as all knowing and moral when they don't know nothing about it. Adam 22 is proof, that there's no morality to these oppressors. And the fact, I'm pretty sure, that all these people that are running these movements are in bed with Esau in some shape or form. You know what I mean? You see, they get exposed eventually. You can't be pro-black and you can't be pro-brown if you're sleeping with the daughter of the oppressor. If you're sleeping with the son of the oppressor. You know what I mean? But here in the ISUPK, we're really about that black and brown love. We're really about that black and brown unity. You know what I mean? Everything else, like they don't know any better, man. Everyone's lost. So to all my Raza listening, man, we are the voice of the Raza. We are fighting for our people, man. We speaking on these matters that affect our people. Come tune in and listen and check us out, man. ISUPK.com, ISUPK Mexico, ISUPK Hollywood Israelites, ISUPK Canada, ISUPK, Texas, New York, like everywhere, man. We worldwide, man. And sooner or later you're gonna see who we are, man. But that's my piece, man. I'm gonna pass the floor to the next priest.
Hey, Tawada. Hey, and Tawada for everybody for joining us tonight, especially everybody watching. Shapat, Miss Ross there. Man, everybody else who jumped on, John, you know what I mean? Everybody out there who tuned into the show. I'm going to tell you this, man. I think what we heard today on both sides is a shameful thing, but it's the reality. It's the reality that, we were all there once too. We were all in that world too. We were from the world, and we didn't consider our brother, the black man. We didn't consider our brother, the Hispanic man. And on both of our sides, we didn't consider our brother, the Native American Indian. You know what I'm saying? We were all the same as those two are. The same as American Cholo, the same as she was. We didn't consider our brothers. The difference is we considered the Lord. We did, because we're in the truth. We're not in the truth because of our brother. We're in the truth because of because of the Lord, the Most High, and because we consider the Lord the Most High, now we consider our brother, because we came into the truth because someone told us that here we serve the Lord the way we're supposed to. Someone told us that we are the children of the Most High, that we are Israel. And when we heard these words, we realized, our spirit realized that, man, this is the truth. And there is a God that is my God and not their God. But these people haven't realized that yet. They still worship America as their God. They still worship the almighty dollar as their God. They still worship all the other things and don't consider their brother, the black man or the Hispanic man or the Native American Indian man. The difference between all of us here, even those of us who are tuning in to watch this show, is that we have a love for the Lord above everything. And since we have a love for the Lord, we have a love for our brother, the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. And that's what separates us from everybody else. That's what makes the difference between us and them. And because we serve the Lord, we also have common sense. Because now we have common sense. I guarantee you that a lot of us before in the world, we didn't even know what the hell common sense was. And we thought just to say these people think. Man, I'm sorry to hear that woman thinks like that. I'm sorry to hear that brother thinks like that. You know, because what they should be doing is trying to find a way to bring us together instead of trying to separate us. And I saw what was going on at the Power 106. And, you know, who cares what music they play? Who cares who runs the station? Because they don't run the station. I heard one brother say that the only time they played us on Power 106 was Pocos Pero Locos. Let me tell you about Pocos Pero Locos. The lady who ran that show was a Jewish woman.
Right.
She ran that show. She's the one who did the Pocos Pero Locos. They wouldn't have gave that show to a Mexican. They wouldn't have gave that show to a Cholo. It had to be a Jewish woman to go in there and say, hey, I want to bring some hip hop music from the Cholos for them to play us. Or they don't play us. They don't play Brown Side. They don't play any of that. They only played that the only time they played it was when that Jewish woman would go and take it for it to be played. Because they'll listen to her, but they won't listen to us. They won't play music because that brother American Cholo's asking for it, because he's a nobody. He'll always be a nobody. Their interest is not us. Their interest is the others, their type, and we're not their type. So they're fighting a losing battle. They're going nowhere. Kool-Aid, which is the name of the woman who did the show, Pocos Pero Locos, was a Jewish woman. And she's the one who controlled what was being played on the radio. She's the one who chose what was being played. And that's why the only reason you ever heard any of our music on Pocos Pero Locos. You know what I'm saying? Tito, he was a joke on Power 106. He was some radio DJ. He wasn't even a DJ. He was a sidekick who spoke like a wetback. And they thought it was funny. But no one ever said anything or went up to complain or rallied and said, hey, man, you know, that's kind of, you know, discriminating, or, you know, that's stupid for you to put some Mexican who sounds like, hello, Tito Pito 106.7, you know, with his little cholo wetback voice. And no one ever said anything. But if you really hear it, that was a joke to them. You know what I'm saying? That was a joke to them. And they ran with it for a long time. You know what I mean? So we're on the losing end. But here in the ISUPK, here's where we make a difference. Like I said before, they're going to go with their blackity black, and the other guys are going to go with their brownity brown, and we're going to go with our black and brown unite or die. That's how we're going to go up there. And we're going to make a difference, and we're going to make a change. And that change is happening already today, because each one of us, those of you watching the show, those of us participating in the show, we are the prophets and the priests that are talked about in the Bible. We're here to make a difference and change the time, because the Lord's on his way. And before he comes to destroy this place, he chose priests and prophets to wake up his nation. And that's who we are. We're those priests and prophets who came to wake up that nation. So let them fight out there, man. Let them fight outside our window. All we're going to do is look and watch. We're not going to rally with them. We're not going to protest with them. We're not going to march with them, because they're marching to their own destruction. They're on their way to a falling cliff with no end. And us, we're on our way to our real freedom when Christ comes back and we're liberated from this place known as Egypt again, or the New Babylon. We're going to be free from this place. And then we're going to see who was on the winning end. Brothers, I want to thank everybody for joining me, man. I want to thank the brothers from Gary, Indiana for coming on the show. Man, that's excellent, man. The brother Barack Ayala, man, you know, y'all always welcome to come on this show. It's a lot better when we all get together. Carnal Barack Ayala, ya sabes, estamos ISUPK México también, para que le entres y te pongas duro y dale chingón, mi compa. You know what I'm saying?
Khan, I don't want Khan.
You know?
And if I could, sir,
go ahead.
If you black, Hispanic, or Native American, your place is with us. En la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal. Tu lugar es con nosotros, ese. Si no estás con nosotros, simplemente eres un pinche vato maricón ese. Al chile. Así no es como es. Salakia, órale, algún.
Salakia.
Oh, go ahead.
Una cosa pequeña.
Dale, Barack, dale.
La última cosa que yo quiero decir es que los hombres blancos, sus mujeres, sus niños, sus niñas, son los pinches diablos que habla la Biblia.
Hey, and with that, I'm going to end the show. Tawada, salam y'all, that was the way out.
Todos ellos son pinche diablos.
Ándale.
Que se vayan todos a la verga.
Hey, don't forget Wednesday. Hey, don't forget Wednesday. I got the Inconvenient Truth. If you want to join the Inconvenient Truth, we'll continue this plática Wednesday on the Inconvenient Truth. With that, hey, shalom, y'all.
Another one. Can't wait for the.
Tawada, everybody for joining us.
Yabashim Shabakatam.
Another one. Salam. How about Shabakatam, sir?
Salam, y'all. Bashim Shabakatam.
Still live?
Damn. Hey, are we still live?
We're not live.
We're not live. Fuck every white man in the world.